Prosecutors say the disgraced South Carolina attorney killed his wife and son to distract from financial and other crimes. Murdaugh's testimony today almost brings the must-see TV trial to an end, although cross-examination continues tomorrow. Avery Wilks been in the courtroom for every single second. Chief investigative reporter for the Post-Courier newspaper in Charleston, South Carolina, and joins us now. Wow would be today in a word. Avery, I want to get you on this. You have the advantage and the ability to see what no one else can see, which is the jury itself. How did they react to what they heard?
Well, to be clear, I'm not actually in the courtroom. I'm right across the street in the media center, but we do have another reporter here in the courtroom. And I'm told that they looked very intently at Murdaugh and watched him very closely, especially in the early stages of his testimony before the cross-examination started and before we got into the financial crimes. But as he was testifying about the murders, about the slayings, and about his version of what happened that night, I'm told that they were watching him very closely. They were sort of staring at him. They were watching how he shook his head and how his face turned red and how he cried at times and how he took these deep swigs from his water bottle. So they seemed to be looking really intently and trying to determine, is this guy telling the truth? Is this the genuine Alex Murdaugh? Or is this the Alex Murdaugh that his client saw, that his family saw, that his law partner saw, who was not the real Alex Murdaugh, who was the Alex Murdaugh who had been lying to them for years as he stole money from them?
Yeah, it stole immense amounts of money. And it's fascinating. If you just watched the 2 hours of the cross-examination, you would have thought this was a financial crimes trial, albeit one that Murdaugh was admitting to all of the crimes. Here he is talking about all the money that he's accused of stealing. Take a listen.
This is Elise Mallory.
And what happened in this case?
I stole her money.
All right, and you stole all of the money, didn't you?
I stole all of the money, most of the money that I've been accused of stealing, I stole.
As I read through your tweeting of this trial, I thought it was fascinating how you laid out what the prosecutor was doing in these 2 hours to basically show that he is an incredible liar. And I guess tomorrow we hear, and if you're so good at lying to all these other folks you were stealing money from, how are you not that same great liar when you say you didn't kill your son and your wife?
Exactly. That's what Prosecutor Creighton Waters is doing. He is eviscerating Murdaugh's credibility on the stand. He is trying to telegraph to the jury, don't believe a word this guy says. This guy will say whatever he needs to whoever he needs to get what he wants, whether it's to seal someone's legal settlement or whether it's to get them to vote not guilty in a murder case. So, and you know, this is, as the defense attorney said, this is a character assassination to a certain degree. We had one question in 2 hours of cross-examination today about the murders. Everything else was about the financial crimes and the lies and the thefts and the betrayals. So, but that is exactly what, you know, Creighton Waters did exactly what he meant to do today. He's going to keep doing it for hours or maybe days more in this case, and that is to completely obliterate what little remains of Alex Murdaugh's credibility for this jury.
You say what little remains. Big question is if there is any at all. This is
Sure.
Waters going to this idea of Alex Murdaugh appearing to be so remorseful and contrite when talking about all of the thefts, the millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. Take a listen.
If I took Arthur Badger's money and applied it to that, I mean, again, I stole money that didn't belong to me. I misled Arthur Badger to take that money, and I was wrong.
How many times have you practiced that answer before your testimony today? Because you keep
never-
giving the same one over and over again.
I've never practiced that answer, but you keep asking me these questions, and I keep using that answer.
You kind of get the feeling that he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He certainly was while he was pulling off all these financial crimes. But what is the strategy to stay out of jail? You admit all these financial crimes. They carry tens, if not dozens of years in prison after you've stolen and admitted to stealing under oath tens of millions of dollars. So he's going to go to jail for financial crimes, but not for the murders?
I think the key calculation that you have to consider is that Murdaugh was likely going to jail for the rest of his life anyway. The financial crimes are there. They're in black and white. They're in bank records and law firm ledgers. So what we're doing here is really just trying to determine whether he also killed his wife and son. And Murdaugh, seems to believe very strongly, or at least wants everyone else to believe, that he was not involved in their deaths. And so taking the stand, he's basically willing to torch his chances of beating the financial charges in order to try to win in this case, to secure a mistrial or a hung jury or an outright acquittal. And again, this is not what his lawyers wanted him to do. They made clear early in court today that they advised him not to take the stand and that this is his decision and he's doing this against their recommendations. So, whatever the calculation is, it's in his head. It is not what defense attorneys believe he should be doing.
Yeah, the line the defense attorneys say is the defendant wishes to take the stand. I'd never heard that any time I'd been in a trial. Wow. Man who has nothing to lose, as you lay out. Avery, great reporting, great Twitter feed, and we're going to come back to you as the trial continues. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.